This is an intermediate English listening practice. It comes from Book 1 of the Intermediate English Comprehension series, which has over 3,000 positive reviews on Amazon. Listen carefully and use the subtitles to improve your vocabulary and comprehension. Vampires have never been more popular. It seems that we can't get enough of blood-sucking characters at the cinema, in books, or on television. The Twilight novels by Stephanie Meyer have sold over 42 million copies worldwide. The American TV shows True Blood and The Vampire Diaries both have millions of fans. These films, TV shows, and books portray vampires as good-looking, sexy characters. However, vampires haven't always been so loved. According to the folklore of many cultures, a vampire is a creature that feeds on the life force of humans, usually in the form of blood, to survive. In Western European culture, the vampire myth is of Slavic origin. In this mythology, a vampire was once a human, who after death became a blood-sucking predator. The description of these creatures varies in each region. Among the Slavic peoples, Greeks, and in parts of Eastern Europe, a vampire was a corpse. In these cultures, people believed his or her body was swollen, and blood came out of the mouth or nose. Their nails, hair, and teeth were longer than when they had been buried. In ancient China, vampires were called jiang-shi. People believed they had stiff limbs, so they could only move forward in small jumps, with outstretched arms. These vampires were completely blind, but they detected people by their breath. The ancient Chinese believed that if a person was bitten by a vampire, then they became one too. In Transylvania, which many people think is the origin of the vampire myth, vampires were said to be thin, pale, have long nails and pointed teeth called fangs. In Bulgaria and Poland, the description of vampires was not very attractive at all. These vampires were said to have one nostril and a kind of sting on the end of their tongue. In every culture which had the vampire myth, there were different ways of protecting yourself against them. If a person had been bitten by a vampire, the Celtic people used to bury the body upside down to stop the victim coming back as a vampire. For the same reason, the Thracians and ancient Bulgarians used to amputate limbs and cut the feet or other parts of the body before burying it. In Rhodes and some other Greek islands, a wax cross was placed between the lips of the corpse. A piece of pottery with the inscription "Jesus Christ Conquers" was also buried with the body to prevent it from becoming a vampire. In Eastern Europe, it was normal to put a clove of garlic in the mouth of the dead body. However, in the Saxon regions of Germany, it was a lemon in the mouth. The vampire myth was made famous by the novelist Bram Stoker in his Gothic horror novel Dracula, which was published in 1897. In this literary classic, a young solicitor called Jonathan Harker travels from England to Transylvania to work for the mysterious Count Dracula. He soon realizes that there is something strange happening in Dracula's mysterious castle, and terrible things begin to occur. The idea of vampires has fascinated people for centuries. What will vampires be like in the future? Nobody can predict this, although it seems certain that we will be as interested in them as ever. If you'd like the full text with comprehension questions and vocabulary explanations, Book 1 is available on Amazon. The link is in the video description below.